From being born with a crippling disorder to a player who was missing their finger, NBA players come in all shapes and sizes. But some players have the odds stacked against them due to things completely out of their control, like certain illnesses or degenerative conditions that they were born with. There's been many players throughout history across every sport that has to face some type of adversity, and they gotta work even harder to compete with their peers. How's it going, folks? My name's Andy, and today let's take a look at 7 NBA players, past and present, who overcame disabilities to make it in this league. Some even became superstars, despite their conditions being a huge obstacle to overcome. Let's begin. But before we start, this video is sponsored by Otis. Otis is the stock market for culture. They have a website and an app where you can buy and sell shares of culturally relevant pieces. There's new drops every week with a great selection to invest in. They've got basketball cards, shoes, retro games, and Pokemon cards too. Some options to choose from include this collection of Street Fighter games for the Super Nintendo, one of the greatest series of all time. If you like jerseys, there's also this 2017 Kevin Durant jersey that recently dropped. He wore this in Game 2 of the Western Conference Semis. Everything is authenticated and certified, so don't worry about any fakes on this app. You can buy and sell shares of these items as investments with a chance to own or co-own these items. That's what Otis is about. Sign up for Otis with the link in my description and get your first share free when you fund your account. Alright, let's get started with the video. Honorable mention to Isaiah Austin. He was originally projected to be a first-round pick in the 2014 draft. That was until he got diagnosed with Marfan syndrome, a genetic condition that affects a body's connective tissue. Austin's arteries in his heart were abnormally long, and it was too risky for him to play basketball at a professional level. On draft night, Adam Silver made an incredible gesture for Austin. While he never got drafted, nor will he ever play in the NBA, the crowd gave him a standing ovation. Number 7, Delonte West. On the surface, during his playing days, it seemed like West was always a goofball. You know, he'd make a lot of mistakes on the court, he was the butt of many jokes, and basically one of the first NBA memes during the social media era. However, for a long time, Delonte was suffering. It wasn't until this photo came out where people started to wonder, "Delonte, are you okay?" His mental health was a huge burden, and he was diagnosed with a bipolar disorder. He was probably the first NBA player who came out to the public about his mental health, a topic that's been largely dismissed across the sports world. Alex Reimer of Forbes.com said it the best. For years, the world knew about West's struggles with mental health, but that didn't stop everyone from laughing. West tried to expand the dialogue 12 years ago, but people weren't ready. Nowadays, everyone's more open about discussing it, and it was West who started this conversation. NBA teams started to employ mental health professionals to talk to athletes who are struggling to cope. Despite all the years of mockery, at least something good came out of it. It brought awareness to a growing problem, not just in sports, but worldwide. Number 6, Gerald Green. Gerald Green was a very good three-point shooter during his prime, but did you know that he did it while having only 4 fingers on his right hand? He's a right-handed shooter, by the way, so that theoretically should cripple his shots. However, he's had a long time to adapt. Green was only 11 years old when his ring finger popped off his hand. One day, him and his brother decided to have a jumping contest in front of a door. Green was wearing a ring on his finger, and when he jumped, his ring got caught on a nail on top of the door. His entire finger nearly ripped off. When his parents brought him to the doctor, they said his finger could not be saved. They had to surgically amputate it, so almost his entire finger is gone. Green said he got bullied a lot because of it, and people constantly made fun of him growing up, and he felt like he ruined his own chance to become a pro basketball player. He got used to it though, and slowly developed a better feel for the ball, so he can shoot with just his thumb, index, and middle finger. That's pretty impressive. Number 5, Sean Elliott. Shortly after winning the 1999 NBA championship, the Spurs were at an all-time high. But for Sean Elliott, that summer, he revealed to the public he had a condition called focal segmental glomerulosclerosis. I think I pronounced that wrong, or FSGS for short. It's a condition where scar tissue develops on the kidney, which could potentially lead to a terminal kidney disease, if not treated quickly. Elliott knew about this condition for 5 years, but the treatments were not working. He needed a kidney transplant. Thankfully, he received a new kidney from his brother, and afterwards he still managed to continue playing basketball. He became the first professional athlete to continue his playing career after a transplant. A remarkable feat. Number 4. Alonzo Mourning. Speaking of kidney transplants, Alonzo Mourning suffered the same condition as Elliott, FSGS. But for Mourning, it got bad real quick. In a matter of weeks, he went from not feeling any side effects to rapidly deteriorating. And the doctor said his body was starting to go haywire. The entire chemistry of his body was failing. If he continued to play in this condition, he'd suffer heart palpitations and possibly even cardiac arrest. Mourning was in a dire situation and he didn't know where to look. Not only that, but at this time, his grandmother was gravely ill and bedridden in the hospital. However, it was at the hospital where Mourning found the guy who would change his life. Jason Cooper, a distant cousin who he hasn't talked to in 25 years, came to visit Mourning's grandma at the hospital. It was there where he found out Mourning needed a new kidney. Cooper offered to donate his kidney to him. It was a match. At this point of his career, Mourning had nothing else to prove. If he retired, nobody would fault him. But he didn't. When the media asked him why he didn't, he stated, "I came back because I knew that I had work to do. Since I went through transplantation, I felt it was my mission to touch other people's lives through the pain that I had to go through. I have been able to use my experience to enlighten and provide hope and support to individuals who are battling all kinds of physical obstacles, such as kidney disease, cancer, and diabetes. Being back on the court has helped to lift others' lives." Let's just say it was worth it. Not only did he inspire millions of people who suffer those conditions, but he also won a championship as a major piece on the '06 Miami Heat. The kidney disease also forced Mourning to start taking his body seriously and paying attention to what he eats. As a result, he was in the best shape of his life after the transplant. Number 3. Brandon Roy. Roy's NBA career was a tragedy. At one point, he was an upcoming superstar, a guy who can literally do it all, as complete of a player we've ever seen before. We all know his career was cut short due to a degenerative knee problem. It caused the cartilage in his knees to slowly degrade over time, and there's no cure for it. Eventually, his knees were just bone on bone, with nothing in between. But that's not even the worst of it. Growing up, Roy was also diagnosed with a learning disability, and it severely hampered his reading comprehension. During his school years, he always fell behind. Now, you might ask, what does a learning disability have to do with playing basketball? It's not like it's a physical injury or anything. Well, in order to get into college, to even play basketball there, you still need to meet a certain threshold in academics. Roy struggled immensely with his SATs. He had to take the exam 4 different times before finally meeting the requirement. It was also hard for him when it came to studying film and learning the game plans. In high school and college, he had difficulty following the instructions of his coaches. And despite his incredible talent, scouts feared his learning disability would be a major hindrance in the NBA. It turns out, it wasn't. Roy overcame that and became an absolute beast. His knees, however, that's a different story. Number 2. LaMarcus Aldridge. Ever since Aldridge came into the league, numerous times he's had heart arrhythmia, basically meaning his heartbeat would randomly speed up or slow down or be at an irregular pace. It's not for certain how serious this issue is, but there's been a handful of times when Aldridge had to sit out because of it. His rookie season was cut short because of that, and he got diagnosed with Wolff-Parkinson-White syndrome, a condition where the electrical signals that control one's heartbeat arrive too soon through a channel that should not exist. Within his first 4 seasons, he got 2 separate procedures to address the problem, but the issue still has not gone away. So his team doctors always pay close attention to him. When talking about this, Aldridge stated, "As a kid, I would get these little flutters. my heart would just start racing. Actually, I died at birth. My mom told me that when I came out of the womb, I wasn't breathing. They kept pulling on my chest, I wasn't alive, and then I fought back. It's a condition he's been fighting throughout his entire life, but that never held him back. Heart abnormalities are, unfortunately, relatively common among NBA players. Some players are forced to retire because of that. For Aldridge, he's been keeping it in check for a long time, so hopefully he'll continue to do so. At number 1, Steve Nash. Do you see this picture? You've probably seen Steve Nash do this so many times when he's on the bench. Usually, he doesn't sit down on a chair, he sits on the floor or lays down on his back on the floor. The reason is because he suffers from spondylolisthesis, a condition where a bone in his lower back slides forward over the bone below it. Basically, it leads to severe back pain, and if you get hit in the wrong spot, your back can get severely damaged. Nash has to constantly stretch and make sure he doesn't sit still for extended periods of time, or else his back will stiffen up. In a Facebook post, this is how he described it. I have a ton of miles on my back, 3 bulging discs, stenosis on the nerve route, and spondylolisthesis. I suffer from sciatica, and after games I often can't sit in the car on the drive home, which has made for some interesting rides. Most nights I'm bothered by severe cramping in both calves while I sleep, a result of the same damn nerve routes, and the list goes on somewhat comically. Throughout his later days, his back issues led to his ultimate demise, but even so, you can't expect much more from him. Nash was never the tallest nor the most athletic player in the world, yet still managed to become a 2-time MVP, one of the greatest point guards to ever grace the NBA floor. Maybe his career could have lasted a bit longer without this condition, but I'd say he made the most of it. Thank you all so much for watching. Those were 7 NBA players who overcame disabilities and terrible conditions, yet still contributed greatly on the NBA stage. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, I'll see you next time. Peace.